So I just finished doing another virtual conference keynote, and I just wanted to I had a couple of notes about what it's like to do this in this season, and some of the things I think that we have learned, like our Wild Leaders team, but also that I'm learning along the way. And I think some of the most obvious things that people are talking about a ton right now that have become hopefully obvious is that lighting matters. So like just the fact that is to get yourself a pretty good box light, get you some sort of front lighting. People have thought in the beginning that backlighting was good, and it's horrible. Like it just takes all the light from your camera, and so it just doesn't work. And so lighting matters, of course. Sound matters. We do tests and rehearsals before every session to make sure that our team does to make sure it's working with whatever platform is being used. But anyway, that's something to just pay attention to, is to get some good front lighting. It just helps for people to be able to see you. I think what's also interesting is that it is fascinating. Not that I don't want to come back face to face and that we aren't missing something, but there are actual benefits of virtual technologies for both teams and for even conferences. Think about it this way. When you went to a conference in the past, mostly what you were looking at is the back of people's heads. And what is fascinating is that people are front facing now. So it does beg one question about, I think when you can share your screen, it actually increases. Sure, it's a little bit vulnerable because you might do something like pick your nose in the middle of it and forget when you get really thoughtful. So it has increased kind of our capacity to be a little bit more vulnerable, see crazy kids running in the background or whatever. But think about that alone, that we are front facing. And so it's created the possibility of actually, I think, deeper intimacy, and I mean that appropriate intimacy, sort of a connected kind of way, so we can see each other more quickly. The second thing is that giving people handholds so that they know that you are looking at them, that they know that you're present with them, and we've been using the chat quite often as an example. It's actually a safe place for people to be a bit more vulnerable than actually they were face to face sometimes. So giving people a structure for that has been good, and also speaking to the process of online doing virtual as much as the content. We get so overburdened by, am I presenting the right thing? But actually giving people a contract for how things are going to be in your team meetings or in a conference or in a session like that we do. These are things that our Wild Leaders team is learning. I would say this also, just keep this in mind. 5 seconds of silence feels like an eternity. It just does. And especially on any kind of virtual platform, whether it's Teams, Zoom, Google Meet, or some other kind of presentation platform. So like making sure that you're kind of filling the space is something that's been important. I think silence can be powerful, but know when you're using it. Don't use it in an awkward way. And so that's just something that's very interesting and maybe something we need to be more comfortable with. And then also, I think this is something related to the content of my research over the last few years, is reminding yourself for why you are in a situation you are. So I was doing a keynote this morning, and the technology went down. But my team members who were part of that, part of the whole production team, we thought about why we were in it before. And so we had a backup plan, contingency plans, but we knew why we were in it, which helped us to be present when the technology went down. I actually disappeared. I'm doing the keynote and I disappeared for a few minutes. So, but you know what? The team members carried on because we knew that we were grounded in a purpose that was beyond my voice. And so I think that's in real time something that's been powerful. So I don't know. These are just my thoughts from today in this season of these virtual keynotes and presentations and working with different teams and groups. And I think the big thing is this. Just try to give yourself permission to believe that there actually is the possibility of a different kind of connectedness that we didn't have before because we're front facing. And even a possibility for some thoughtful levels of vulnerability with our teams. That's kind of cool. So good job practicing out there. Hope you're learning stuff too. Would love to see any comments you have.